cover the rear! Move it! Cover the rear! Cover the rear! I don't have a credit card!
Sir, the attitude's not going to speed things up at all. I'm going to ask you to speak into the mouthpiece very clearly.
I'm in the middle of a war! This is freaking ridiculous! Hey, push your wallet!
Pocket!
Which pocket?
Back pocket!
You got 10 back pockets!
Left cheek! Left cheek! Left cheek!
Okay, it's Visa!
Also, have you heard about our Premium Plus World Service Gold package?
No, I don't want a premium package! Hey, Pentagon!
Give me a status. Sir, we're tracking a special ops team under fire in Qatar. They say they're survivors of the base attack.
Survivors? I never seen anything like this before! Need guns for protection! ASAP!
Predator's coming up in a minute.
We're linking the call to the nearest AWAC.
What is that?
We need air support, and we need it now. Roll in strike package Bravo on unknown target. I authenticate Tango Whiskey in time 0300 Zulu.
Attention all aircraft. This will be a danger close fire mission.
Weapons, I just get a call from Falcon Ops. Who's closer to Killbox 1 Alpha?
Send the Hawk, sir.
Okay, send the Hawks over to Killbox 1 Alpha. It's a danger close to 300 feet.
Killbox 1 Alpha, 300 feet, danger close.
Friendly's in the area.
7-man team, north of Orange Smoke!
Proceed Killbox 1 Alpha. Gauge hostile.
Scout! The heat's coming!
Blaze the target! We're gonna be runner incoming! Blaze target!
Proceed Killbox 1 Alpha. Gauge hostile.
Attack direction west! You're cleared hot!
The heat's coming!
I have probably seen Michael Bay's Transformers film more than any other movie in my entire life. And today, not only have we cloned Josh Duhamel's rifle from the 2007 film, but we also went ahead and made our own little short film with it. It's a very special video for me today because not only are we going to talk about the rifle, but we're going to talk about how we put this project together, from beginning, middle, to end. So thank you so much for checking this video out, and let's bring the rain.
Action!
When I was 11 years old, my dad took me to see Transformers in 2007 on opening night. At the time, it was the most anticipated movie of my life. I was already a pretty big Transformers fan. I was already watching things like Armada, Cybertron, Beast Wars. YouTube was barely in its infancy, so I was scouring everything that I could on my family computer to get any information about this project. And then, July 2007, it finally came. Begged my dad to take me opening night. So he and I sat down in a small theater in Texas, and my life was never the same. My dad is not one to be impressed. Just trust me on this one. And for him to go, holy shit, to a movie, especially one that I'm hyped on, that is a big deal. And from then on, it was over for me. I dove into everything filmmaking. I probably watched the making of more than the actual movie. Oh yeah, if you thought this was some sort of gun tuber video, you are so wrong.
Check on the rep, yep, second to none. Check on the rep, second to none, yeah. This is how we get this done. You can check on the rep, second to none. Check on the rep, second to none, yeah. This is how we get this done. You can check on the rep, second to none.
All right, now don't worry. I know what a lot of you are here for. This thing. And don't worry, we're gonna talk about it and go over every piece that's on this. But first, let's take a trip back to 2007.
Time to find out.
I wanna heal, I wanna feel what I thought was never real. I wanna let go of the pain I felt so long. Erase all the pains and let's go.
All right, 2007. The towers fell 6 years ago, and we've already been in war for way too long. But with war comes a lot of, well, really cool gear. Now look, Colt's still the golden boy of the US, and they are pumping out rifles. M4s, M16s, launchers, rails, Mark 18s, you name it, they've got it. And in the mix of all of this, there's a little company called Atlantic Research Marketing Systems Incorporated. You probably know them as ARMS.
So I collapse, I'm spilling these raps long as you feel them. To the day that I drop, you'll never say that I'm not killing them. Cause when I am not, then I'ma stop pinning them. And I am not hip-hop, and I'm just not Eminem.
That's right, the Selective Integrative Rail, or the SIR rail as we know it as, was a pioneering modular handguard introduced in the early 2000s. Designed to bridge the upper receiver with a monolithic feel, these things didn't see massive use and unfortunately are kind of a little bit tricky to find. Ask me how I know. But it is most popularly known from its depiction in the M4A1 in Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. The good one. A rifle that we've actually gone over on the channel before. Now, the ARMS rail is the heartbeat of Lennox's rifle. The one used in the film is the 45C, which is even harder to find nowadays than your usual ARMS gear. Today, we're representing that piece of equipment in our build with an ARMS SIR 50 rail. It's almost 100% the same with just a slight difference. Now, the 45C rail has one continuous piece running along the top of the rifle, while the 50 has a fold-over front piece that bridges the upper. The Modern Warfare 2 version is the 50 version, and the Lennox version is the 45C version. There's a couple other ARMS rails that do make an appearance in the film, and this is sort of the time when these rails were really popular. Most of them, if not all of them, have since been discontinued, which is why people are selling them for the cost of an arm.
But this rifle is just way more than just a fancy rail. There is a ton of stuff going on here. Everything from what I thought was a mil-spec stock to actually a Voltor stock, all the way to the Surefire M900 grip, which is something I actually already own. Definitely one of Surefire's coolest products in my opinion.
But when it comes to the rifle itself, it's not anything too wild. It's still just a standard AR-15 M16 powder rifle. We are featuring an 11.5 barrel with an aggressive YMH brake on the front end, and we do have a 3-position super selector installed in the lower, which has been a ton of fun to use. If you watched this page before, you know that we are big proponents of PSA, so that is where the upper and lower are from. This has been running fantastic. We've had no issues. I don't know how many rounds we've put through it, but I'm definitely going to be using this way more in the future. I've been running this lower on a bunch of different builds, and I'm overall just very pleased with the performance, and I am really liking the feel of the 11.5.
But what is really unique about this is the optics setup. Now this is a little funky. Now up front, you got something that's not too crazy for the time. You've got an Aimpoint Comp In 2, just on a typical Aimpoint optic mount, which isn't anything crazy, mounted a little forward, but the reason it's mounted so forward is because it's making room at the back for a PVS 14. Now this is a little weird because that means that the only way that you can aim with this thing is by looking through the tube, which in the daytime is a little weird. Most of the Transformers are set during the day, and especially most of the scenes with the soldiers are set during the day. Now in my personal headcanon, what this means for me is that Lennox, being a Special Forces operator, was probably doing a couple spooky sneaky shit out in the nighttime over in Qatar. And as a result, his rifle was set up for nighttime operations. And once Blackout inevitably attacked Sauk San Air Base, he didn't really have time to change his optic setup. He had to grab what he was using and get the hell out of Dodge. And so that's why we have this really funky optic setup on this rifle, especially for something during a daytime operation, which really wasn't a daytime operation. It was more of survive.
And speaking of action, that's one thing that Bay is absolutely known for. Really a standout in his field compared to his contemporaries. I've said it before, but I'll absolutely say it again. Nobody, and I mean nobody, does action like Bay. Specifically the way that he's able to block and blend practical effects with CGI. If I weren't showing you the before and after of these shots, then you probably would think that most of this is CGI, but no. The only thing that's really not real is Starscream.
And that's the mentality across the entire franchise. If Bay can do it for real, he's probably going to do it for real.
Okay, so this shot is from our version. Okay, yes, it does not look as good as Bay's. And of course it's not. I don't have a couple $1 million to hire Industrial Light and Magic. And I don't expect to. And I don't expect to compete with Bay. That was a $150 million movie, and we made this for the change that we had in our pocket. And look, I am by no means good at 3D visual effects and compositing. It's honestly the one part of VFX that I never really delved into. Most of my VFX work comes from 2D compositing and just basic stuff like that. So what I want to talk about is how the hell we have Scorponok in the opening of this video.
3, 2, 1, action.
Cover the rear! Cover the rear!
So we're here in Premiere, and once we've assembled all of our shots and built our project, what we're going to do is start going through and getting our selects. Now, this is everything that we've shot for the project. This has been a long ordeal. We have several days of shooting, and we're going to be going through just a couple of shots just to show you guys what it took to make this video. Now, a lot of what we shot for the main opening sequence, we shot on the Red in the R3D codec. It's a really good file type. It just provides us with a lot of room on the back end to make things look kind of however we want. Now, there's a couple of things that we did to really try and emulate the look and feel of this movie. We talked about the Red a little bit, but when grading the footage, we really leaned into the oranges and teals, and to try and emulate that look and feel of Bay's films. We kept the grain to simulate the look of 35mm film, and we shot in a way that kept the shutter double the frame rate, kept in 23.9 FPS, same as the movie. All of this coupled together with a LUT that we threw on top and then a little bit more correcting, and you end up with something that definitely gives the feel of late 2000s Bay, especially from the Transformers film. Now, once we've gotten our selects, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and take our selects, export the portion of the file that we want to work on, and then what we're going to do is we are going to go into After Effects. Now, this is where the main bit of compositing is going to take place. This is what a lot of your explosions, dust, 3D tracking, stuff like that. Because the way that I'm doing this is a little brute force as opposed to the proper way that you would normally go about creating a CG character in a film. Now again, like I said, I am not a 3D expert. I basically learned everything that I currently know just for this project. I started basically at zero, and now we're here. Now, all of this is very well and good, but let's get into the real meat of what I want to talk about. Scorponok himself. Okay, so first off, we need a Scorponok model. Oh, here's one. This is an insanely lucky find, and honestly, the video probably wouldn't be made if it wasn't for this. This is a fully rigged, boned up Scorponok model that I was able to download from Sketchfab for free. Now, like I said, I am not a 3D expert. I am basically poking and prodding until things kind of go the way I want them to. So essentially what I did was I essentially keyframe animated the Scorpion to move in the ways that I wanted to. I would bring in reference footage from the movie to try and copy the motions that he was doing, and after iteration and just playing with different features and effects, this honestly was an insanely fun process to make, and this is sort of why this video took the shape that it did. Is what I originally wanted to do was learn how to animate Transformers. Obviously, over time, goals and priorities shift and change, and I found myself going more towards production and videography and cinematography, but this is always something that I've wanted to learn how to do, and after this, I really think that I've kind of got the 3D bug.
Now, while it's cool to have VFX like that, to be able to put scorpions in your videos, like not everything that we do, we want to fake, or we want to CG, or we want to fix in post. A lot of this channel is about showcasing the real-life versions of what you can do from these famous pieces of media in real life. Now, obviously, we can't showcase everything because that would just get too expensive. Some things are very ultra rare. You can't even get them anymore. So this rifle, there's a lot of things that really go into it. Everything from the arms rail to the stock. We've even gone so far as to try and simulate his lower that the military would issue. But the one standout piece, the one ultra rare, incredibly hard to find, is the laser device, the Wilcox AN-PEC 7. Holy crap, this was hard to find. This is probably one of the rarest things that we've ever had and ever shown. And yeah, it's 100% authentic. This is a real Wilcox AN-PEC 7. And other than Transformers, I don't know if these things have ever been filmed. And that's really, really cool. So let me kind of set the stage a little bit for you guys. If you go to Google or YouTube and you type in Wilcox AN-PEC 7, you might get an error code because there's like no information about these things. Off the top of my head, from about the 2 months of research that we did into this thing, I found one TFB article, I found one website selling it to military and police only that backdated to like 2009, and I found like 3 Instagram posts that featured this thing. And at first I didn't even think Lennox was rocking a PEC 7, I thought it was a PEC 2. The red button kind of threw me off a little bit, but when I finally saw a photo of one, maybe like 3 months ago, it clicked. It was like, holy crap, that's it. If you go to YouTube, you're not gonna find anything. At least to my knowledge, this is the first time that a Wilcox PEC 7 has ever been filmed outside of Transformers and on YouTube. We might be the first ones to ever show this thing off, which is really, really cool. But this is an incredibly cool piece of equipment. And it's sort of the one thing that brings this entire build together. And as far as I'm aware, I know of only 3 in existence of where they are. I know the TFB one from the article, I know that there's one in Austria, and I know that the other one is in a glass case in the CEO of Wilcox office. Ask me how I know that. Now, this is not from Austria, and Wilcox did not want to send out the only PEC 7 that they had. It's a little crazy. It's such an obscure piece of technology, and nobody knows what it is. No one's ever heard of it. I messaged a couple people who know way more about this type of stuff than I do, and most of them had never even heard of this thing. It's really rare. I don't think I can stress that enough, how kind of unique this thing is. And so finally we had a last-ditch effort. We said, you know what? There's one guy that we do know that probably has one. The author of the TFB article. So we have to give a huge thank you to Nick Chen for sending out his personal Wilcox PEC 7. You can follow him on his Instagram at Solska007. Thank you, man, so much. This brought the rifle together, and I cannot thank you enough for lending it out to us. Thank you so much. This is a very, very nice treat to be able to show this off, especially in video form, something that I don't think has been done ever with this piece of technology. So now that we have the rifle built, we need to get it on film.
Action! Action! Plan B running in, coming, ready, target! Action! Action! Hey, turn the rear, Kash, coming in, move it! Action! Cut!
But that's not really an entirely inappropriate way to say it, because the first 3 Transformers movies were shot on 35mm film. It's part of why they still look so good today. Film in my opinion, is a far superior image format than digital. Obviously, with digital, we have a lot more freedom, but there's just something magical about film, especially 35mm film. Most of the movies that a lot of us grew up on, Star Wars included, Transformers, Predator, Die Hard, all of these movies were shot with 35mm film. But Bay's second love, and the movies that he shot after the first 3 Transformers, including the last 2 Transformers, say what you will about those, was shot on red. And we do have, it's a budget red, but it is a red camera nonetheless. This is my Red Raven, and this is one of my favorite pieces of equipment to use for video. Now, is it complicated? Yes, absolutely. Is it the easiest thing in the world to shoot with? Absolutely not. Do not go buy a red. Go get a DSLR mirrorless camera and just start shooting stuff. But for projects like this, I like to break this thing out because it makes it that much more fun, it gives it a little bit more character, and it's just insanely fun to work with bigger rigs on bigger projects like this. But this is a little bit of a personal favorite of mine. It's always fun to bring this thing out, have a little bit of fun with it, and especially when you bring guys out, and I always get a little bit of a kick out of that. It's always fun to be shot with a big camera, but it's incredibly fun, and I felt that it was the perfect project to bring this thing out on and build this out and have a little bit of that Michael Bay sauce in this video.
If you can't tell, this is a little bit more than just a typical GunTube video. You don't pour months and learn an entirely new skill just to talk about some basic AR-15. And as cool as it is to hold an exact replica of Lennox's rifle, to be honest, the rifle itself doesn't really do much for me. Now, over the last 2 months, there have been millions of people that have interacted with a lot of the Transformers content that I've posted, both on YouTube and Instagram. And if you've interacted with me or you've seen what I've posted, then you can probably tell that I got something a little bit different. And it's become pretty obvious that a lot of people ended up joining the military because of this movie or movies like it. And if you can't tell by now, I clearly took something different from this movie. Yes, the guns are cool, the military is awesome. Roland Strike Package Bravo is probably the greatest piece of military propaganda ever put to screen, and I wouldn't change a thing about it. But I left that theater in '07 with a completely different outlook. I wanted to become a filmmaker. I wanted to work with cameras, create these giant effects and blockbusters, and tell stories and entertain and bring people together through the medium of visual storytelling. That probably sounds a little pretentious, but we're almost 20 years away from the release of this movie, and I can hardly think of a day that I didn't have a camera with me after this movie. The first video that I ever made was a stop-motion Transformers video. So I'm thinking there's going to be a shift in content. I still want to keep making firearm-related videos, but I think you're going to see a lot more emphasis on the production side of things going forward. I've always said that this isn't your typical GunTube channel, and I don't even consider myself a GunTuber. I'm just a dude with a bunch of cameras who likes making things look cool. And I think we're gonna go even harder on it this year. So I send this message to any new subscribers finding this channel. We're here, and we're waiting.